Hi guys, and welcome to another match review. Another match review where we discuss another defeat for Sunderland, and this is Sunderland's 21st defeat of the season. Only 3 other clubs in the Championship have got a worse defeat record, have lost more games than us, and that is just in itself an absolutely appalling stat, considering that at the beginning of the season you had the likes of Speakman and KLD suggesting that we'd be aiming for the playoffs minimum and banging on about this high performance culture, and yet we slumped to our 21st defeat of the season. Now, I know for a fact that in this review of the game I'm going to be mentioning things and stating the same shit that I say every single review. I'm going round and round in circles and I'm boring myself at this point, but what's boring me even more is this football club this season, because it's been just a throwaway season, and this is what I'm even going to say. I'm going to repeat myself, because the way we've managed this season has been abysmal. How we've gone from the team we did last season, the manner, not even just the winning games, getting into the playoffs and what have you, it's the style of play and everything like it, and everyone just adored the players because they were such characters on the pitch, and it was just the absolute opposite. It's just like a bunch of strangers. And granted, in this game and other games throughout the season, we did make chances. It weren't like it was all entirely appalling. But the fact of the matter is, you can only use so many excuses before we can say it just isn't good enough, and it is shit. Because that's what it is. When you miss the amount of chances we did today, and some of the clear-cut ones, you can't just put it down to we don't have a striker or they're too young. It just isn't good enough, and it's shit. From a lot of the players, it's far from good enough. But from an isolated perspective, from an isolated performance, we'll look at it. We did start with, again, and Dodds is someone who I'd not necessarily defend, but I do refrain from giving too much stick, because I do believe he's been thrown under the bus. And that's to a degree I still believe he is. But of course, and I always say, and all you agree with me, I do generally call a spade when it is one. And he's been far from good enough. And sometimes I can defend him to a degree with certain decisions where I think, okay, I understand why he's done this, but it just hasn't gone his way. But today's lineup for me, for one, it was baffling. You know, we went back to the 5 at the back system with the wing backs, with Alessi, Ballard and O'Nien as the back 3. At right wing back we had Hume coming back in for Pembele. Left wing back we had Styles. Now this is where it frustrates me, because we didn't go with a striker, which I know we don't play with a striker anyway, because we only have kids who can't kick a fucking football as strikers. But who we have been using for the majority of the season is Job. So this would be an ideal opportunity to actually use Job, who has been pretty much our striker this season, even though he's supposed to be a centre mid. He actually does put him in centre mid. And then other players who actually do play central midfield, he refuses to put them there. And they've got Al-Shish, who should be a 10. He's playing as a false 9. You've got Rick, who, as I keep on saying time and time again, he isn't a winger. He won't put him centre mid. Styles, with this could be an opportunity to try him in centre mid and put someone else who can play left wing back there. It was just a shit show. It was like, because we are so used to trying to fit players out in positions that aren't their positions, when we actually are in a position to be able to play them in their actual positions, we just don't do it because we're so used to not doing it. Does that make any fucking sense? No, it doesn't. But anyway, we do have Job and Ekwa in the middle. On the right hand side, we have Rigg, and then we have Clark, and then Al-Shish playing as the sort of striker, false 9, whatever you want to call it. He was pretty much a striker. But opening 10 minutes of the game, I thought Watford probably had the better of it, the opening 10. I felt like, without testing us at all, or at least testing Patterson, should I say, I think they had one chance early doors. I think it was at Kone, with an effort from outside of the box, which went high and wide. They put a few crosses into the box, which were just, we didn't handle greatly. We were just scuffing clearances, keeping us in danger, and then putting us under the cosh a little bit. But then after that, I felt like we just kind of weathered that sort of 5-10 minute storm, and we did actually control the first half in terms of creating chances. And there was quite a lot of nice, slick play, a little 1-touch, 2-touch passing around, even when they did put us under a big press, under a high press, and we were seeming confident enough to do the little triangles, and that's all well and good. We looked very nice and compact and comfortable in the ball in our own third, the middle third, but every time we're pissing around with it and doing all these lovely triangles, I'm looking at the final third and I'm thinking, there's no one there. Al-Shishi's wandering around, he's not a striker, and that is it. And even when we did work it into the good areas, wide areas, Clark on one side or Rig on the other, I'm looking in the box, there is no one there, apart from Al-Shish kind of lingering around the edge, and then they've just got, it's a piece of piss to defend against. So it just becomes a case of, the wingers need to try and make something, which is what's happened all season. And when Jack Clark doesn't score, no cunt does. Do you know what I mean? That's literally it. So we did make chances eventually. And we did manage to break them down a little bit. Rig one-on-one with the keeper. His touch took him away from the keeper, which closed the angle a little bit. Keeper makes a good save. He goes out for what should be a corner, but a goal kick was given somehow. Ballard won his header from a corner, which looped the keeper, and it's cleared off the line. Jack Clark had a handful of chances as well. One of them, which, I think this may have been the second half, actually, sorry. But he cuts in from left to right. He had a handful of chances, Jack Clark, and really good ones at that. He cuts him from left to right. He should have at least tested the keeper. He's put it wide of goal. Another one where he's cut inside brilliantly as he does. And he just passes it to the keeper. It's just piss poor finishing. And it sounds like I'm speaking as if we're just unfortunate. It isn't unfortunate. If the keeper pulls out a miraculous amount of saves, fair enough. But when the shooting is that poor, that is, the finishing is that poor, we can only blame ourselves. You can't just keep going on and go, oh, well, we had 10 shots to their X amount. That doesn't win you points. That's bullshit. You're boasting how shit your shooting is, how your lack of, there's no one being clinical enough. That's what it is. It's just appalling. And then eventually, anyway, second half, they do break. Piss poor defending. I think because we were getting really confident because we just had a really good chance with Clark. They broke forward and our defence just seems to collapse. Split us straight through. The Watford man gets it. If you look at it, it is a relatively tight-ish angle, and it does actually go straight at Patterson. But Patterson sort of flops to make the dive, and goes under him when he didn't really need to dive. I felt like he could have stood his ground, made himself big, and he would have been simple. But either way, I'm not going to blame the whole thing on Patterson. He's just another one to the list of shit performances over the course of the season. But then we did create more. We brought on the changes with Roberts, Barr come on, Hamia come on. And the big chance, which was right at the end of the game, and it just typified not only Roberts' season, but our season as a whole. Hamia, he gets the ball to the right-hand side. I've seen some people give Hamia shit for this, but he did brilliantly well. So Hamia, come on, like I said, last 10 minutes, one of the last kicks of the game, gets the ball on the right-hand side. He could have easily been the striker, the greedy sort of striker where people might say just go for goal himself from a tight angle. But he holds it off, he lets the keeper make a move, and he pulls it inside, pulls it back to Roberts, open goal, and he falls over himself. And that's just Roberts' season. It just typified. Just nothing would go his way. He's running into the ball, running into danger, constantly losing the ball, and it's one of them. And I've seen people say online saying people have been a bit too harsh on Roberts. And I know, right, I'm not daft. I might be daft, but I know how good Roberts can be. We've seen it last season. We know that he has the quality in him. But I've seen people defend him saying, he's just had an inconsistent season. No, he hasn't. Inconsistent would suggest that at times he has been good and consistent. This season, he's given nothing but dog shit performances. The end of story. Let's be blunt. I don't think he's a shit player, but he has had a shit season. And like I said, it is an inconsistency. He's been consistently shit. Let's just call a spade as I do. It hasn't been anywhere near good enough. So we need to start giving him some of it as well and just say, that wasn't good enough. We know it. And it's a shame we give him the new contract and it's just been even worse ever since, hasn't it? But I don't know, guys. There we go. Anyway, we fall to our latest defeat. What do we do from here? What do I say from here that hasn't already been said or what I haven't already moaned about before? I just want the season to come to an end and get it over with. Some players just aren't good enough for this level at all. Our summer before the season was appalling. We didn't address issues in the summer that we should have done, and even in January where we had opportunities to address the summer, sort of issues, we still didn't. We just haven't addressed anything, and everything just seems to have been on a whim. The Mowbray sacking, which again at the time I thought was the correct decision because it felt like we were going in a certain direction, and because we were so used to going on this upwards trajectory at the time with him, we were just going inconsistent, and it looked like we hit a wall. So as I keep on saying, that's what everyone thought, and I thought myself, and if you look back at videos, I thought it was the correct decision as much as I like Tony Mowbray, and he put some excellent football. It felt like, right, okay, now we're going to bring someone in who comes to the next level, who's going to bring us to the next level. It seemed that the club would have had that kind of plan. They had no plan. They brought in Beal, and then after a few weeks, he's gone after an absolute shit show. And then give it to Dodds, who isn't a manager. He's been, he's a coach and he's been working his backroom staff for the majority of his career, well, his entire career, and he's been given the rest of the season, and he's been thrown under the bus. And it's just an absolute shit show. I just want the season over with. Then there's hope to God that in the summer they do get this right, because this has been an absolute abomination of a season. It's been a waste of time. It's been a waste of my time. Waste of your time. Waste of every fucker's time. It really has, because they give up on the season the second that they sat Beal. Or give it to Beal, should I say. They give up on the season. We may as well not have continued. But there we go, guys. What do you lot think? I'm saying the same shit. I'll be saying the same shit again. Today, Watford haven't won at home since November. And I was saying, and so was everyone can see it clear as day. This has been the 6th or 7th, maybe even 8th time this season where teams come to us and they haven't won on the road in 10, or they haven't won a game in 15. And every single time, Sunderland comes to the forefront and say, hold my fucking beer. I will solve that problem for you. It's every single time. It was predictable, clear as day, always going to happen. Now, Chef Wednesday, they need a point to stay up. We'll somehow find a way to give them fucking 4 points. Either way, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. Stay jammy.